CHI Health Center packed out once again for semifinal night of the state wrestling tournament. 10 mats full of wrestlers on the floor tonight. We start with girls 135. Scott Catholic's Alexis Pearson making easy work of West Holt. The near fall from the jump ends up winning 16-1 in less than 5 minutes, advancing to Saturday. Class B boys 157. Bennington's Ty Buafeko gets two here on Nicholas Rotella from Scott. The Badgers moving on at 157 as he wins on the 8-5 decision. At 126, double OT, Omaha Bryant's Cree So gets the stalling call for the win, defeating Isaac Ekdahl of Millard South to advance to the championship bout, and he's rightfully fired up. At 132, Omaha North's Jermaine Dortch with the takedown of Columbus's Leighton Braithwaite, and that's all he needed as he punches his ticket on the 5-0 decision. Checking in at 144, Omaha Central's Kevin Boston taking Daniel Gonzalez to the mat. He'd end up picking up the victory 5-2. He'll face off against Tanner Hosick of Bellevue West in tomorrow's title match. You can find a full list of winners from our area on our website, WOWT.com. Well,